be amiss to not wish you a Merry Christmas.
Thank you, my friend.
And have a joyous day, a peaceful day with I assume you're gonna be with the people that you most love in your life.
Indeed.
And that's where everybody should be. And I hope you get beautiful presents and lots of love.
I'll be giving beautiful presents.
I don't know if you'll be getting them, but you know what? When you give beautiful presents, it gives you joy, and it's a present. All right, we can bring that spirit throughout the entire year. It's not just at Christmas time, and for not only for you, Roy, but your extended family, all of Irie Jam, and all of the listeners out there. I wish everybody truly a Merry Christmas. That I hope everybody is with somebody that they love, and everybody's at peace with themselves for that day. And is joyful for that day, and be joyful for what you have. Don't be joyful. You're with a loved one. Be joyful. You're with a loved one. There's lots of people in this world who aren't with their loved ones. Leon, how are you?
Mr.
You call me Mr. Obama. I'm not the president, but thank you anyway. What's happening?
Yeah, I have a problem with my job.
Okay, what's going on?
I lost my job 2011.
Right.
Because I was dirty. And they fired me.
What do you mean you were dirty?
I call dirty my system and my drugs.
Ah, okay.
So what happened now? They fired me without no hearing or nothing.
Right.
I work for MTA.
Right.
And
well, you have a union. So this is a union issue if you work for the MTA.
The union doesn't have me.
All right. Well, then that's unfortunately when you're in a union job, you got to really. It's a union issue. It's not you got to go through your union, and that's why the union is there. But in terms of employment discrimination, that's something beyond the scope of what I'm able to help you with. But I will tell you, you really got to go through your union. If the union's not helping you, then you need to find an employment lawyer. But that's something beyond what I can help you with.
Employment lawyer, cool.
I don't know. I don't know an employment lawyer off the top of my head, but you need somebody who deals with employment discrimination. Because I mean, really, the reality is this. I mean, if you fail the drug test and your union agreement says that they can fire you if you fail a drug test, unless you're going to claim you're fired because of your race or your religion or your sexual orientation, then they have a right to fire you. But you really need to speak to, employers have the right to hire and fire anybody they want, as long as they don't violate a union agreement, as long as they don't violate a contract, and as long as they don't violate your constitutional rights. And your constitutional rights is not to be discriminated against. So how could they discriminate against you? Because you have black skin, you have brown skin, you have olive skin. You're a man, they only want women. You're a woman, they only want men. You're a Christian, they only want somebody else. You're not a Christian, they only want Christians. Your sexual orientation, they only want people in heterosexual relationships, not homosexual relationships. But there has to be some discrimination you have to look towards in order to help. And if there's no discrimination, then you got to go to your union. And based on what I hear for 30 seconds, listen, I don't know your story, but what I hear on 30 seconds is that you failed the drug test, and that could be, it's a union issue. It's not a discrimination issue. 1-800-526-7977. Michael, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's up?
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Right?
Go ahead.
I have a friend, an American guy, right? He had got himself into some trouble because he thought that he had a warrant years ago when he had did something wrong.
Right.
And then he had went to jail under the assumed name that he's using, right?
Right.
And his family's from Jamaica. He got deported.
Right.
Under the circumstances, but he came back and then he's scared to do things because he thinks he's in big trouble.
He is in big trouble.
What here?
He is in big trouble.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because if you get deported, and you return to the United States without permission, and you sneak back...
He's American.
Why do you say he's American?
He was born here, but he was using some... What happened?
Oh, he's an American citizen who got deported. So really, what we need to do... Okay, so then that's a different story. Okay, you can't deport American citizens. So what we need to do is prove his American citizenship and go back to the immigration court and reopen his case, and prove that because other than that, if he starts going around as an American citizen and says, okay, I'm now going to assume my real name, the government thinks he's assumed a fake name. So, to the government right now, he's a Jamaican. And what you're saying to me is he's an American. So he assumed a fake name and got deported. That's actually, I'm going to tell you something. I have never heard of somebody assuming a fake name and getting deported. Why didn't he speak up and say, hey, I'm an American?
Because he did something when he was like a few years before all these problems when we were younger. And he thought he had a warrant for that kind of stuff.
So he said, I'd rather get deported than face the warrant on the other case that I did some stuff on.
Right. So then he...
Now, does he have that warrant? Does he have that warrant still?
The man ain't got no warrant. He thought he had a warrant. He did something. He committed a crime.
I have to tell you something. I'm actually dumbfounded listening to this story, but I guess it happened. Assuming, in fact, he is a U.S. citizen, okay, we need to prove his citizenship. Go back to the immigration.
He was born and raised here.
Okay, we need to prove it. Because right now, if he assumes, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Yes, can he just say, okay, yes, I'm an American citizen, start being an American citizen? If that's factually correct, yes, he's an American citizen. He doesn't really need to go back before an immigration judge. The problem is that when something pops up on his name, he runs his fingerprint or whatever. Let's say he gets pulled over and they run his fingerprints, or he's a DUI, just something really silly and dumb. They run his fingerprints. They're going to say, you are not an American, you're a Jamaican, because that's what his fingerprints are going to show. You got deported, right, and now you're assumed an American name, and that's a crime, and then they're going to start charging him for that. And then deport him again.
Oh, okay.
So we got to get it all straightened out.
He's going around trying a little bit to intimidate him.
All right. First of all, everything he has done in his life is wrong. So the first smart thing he can do, all right, is hire a good lawyer that knows what he's talking about. And you're listening to one, and tell him, here's our number, 1-800-526-7977. Make an appointment to come in and see us. All right, I'm going to tell you something, Roy.
You've heard it all, but...
I never heard that one before. Actually, I've heard, that's not true, okay? I've heard people who got deported who were American citizens. I've had many people deported who were American citizens, but never somebody who was born in America. I've helped many people who were mistakenly deported, who were citizens because their parents became citizens when they were little boys or girls, and then that gave them citizenship automatically, and they didn't realize it. And I've helped many people come back, probably 24 in my career, come back and prove their citizenship. But I've never heard of somebody who was actually born in America, who knew they were born in America, who kept it quiet and got deported as a Jamaican. That's crazy.
Wow.
But we'll fix it.
I'm quite sure you will.